If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And tonight, as it says there at the bottom of the screen, is the final Watt Wednesday before our Season 2 premiere. So we're here to kind of commiserate. We're here to relax, chill before Season 2 drops tomorrow. We'll talk kind of what spoiler level we're going to do in chat. We'll get into the discussion tonight. But before I do that, without further ado, let me welcome my guest tonight. Bookborn, thank you so much for being here. It's so awesome to have you here. I know we talked about doing this, so welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited.
So maybe as a quick kind of intro for everyone, maybe give everyone kind of, the 20-second pitch. Who is Bookborn and what is Bookborn?
Yeah, I am Bookborn, and also my channel is Bookborn. Look at that, easy to remember. And I talk about all things fantasy and sci-fi on my channel, usually deep dives. You know, got lots of Wheel of Time content, Lord of the Rings, Sanderson, all the other kind of books you can think of, as well as sort of meta topics about fandoms. It's
definitely not what we like to do here.
Definitely not.
Yeah, deep dives, fantasy,
no intersection.
fandom. I know what you're talking about. So, well, thank you. We actually met because of a Sanderson book, right?
Of course.
That was Tress, right? You were part of the Tress book club. And we had a chance to chat, and I always wanted to get together to do this episode, and so I'm so excited. Sorry. Let me, without further ado, invite my other guests to the show. How about we do that? Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brian, Grace, and Alice. Sorry, I was seeing chat, and they were talking about Brian moving, and I like this. My favorite comment. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Or 1 second is there it is. Sorry, it was. How did Brian Beta on us stay so still? So good job.
We're
good
real.
job. Good job,
Actually,
all of you. Yeah.
Not cutouts.
You were not cutouts. That's true. They are actually here. So there's a nice full room to chat here. But maybe Bookborn, take all of us through here, and everyone that's in chat, the couple hundred of you out there decided to spend your Wednesday evening with us before the premiere. So we thank you for being here. Maybe tell us a little bit about how you became and when you became a Wheel of Time fan. Everyone loves to know kind of everyone's origin story. And after I ask you, I'm going to have you guys all remind me what your origin stories are. Yeah. So tell us.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be the one who got into it the latest. So Wheel of Time is really special to me because I found it when I was in grad school. And at the time, so I was 22. And I hadn't really made the leap from YA yet. like YA fantasy. Like I was a huge reader, but I was reading YA, and because every time I tried to dip my toe in, I kept like accidentally getting very explicit stuff. And at the time, I just was like, wasn't really, my vibe. And so I don't even know how I found Wheel of Time. Like it was completely random. I was like, a lot of people talk about this series. I'm just going to do it. And I was just totally hooked. Like,
did you look at the series before you made that decision? Did you like?
Nope.
Did you like? Let me count the books. You didn't. You just jumped in. Okay.
Nope.
That's smart.
I read the first book.
Smart.
Well, my husband was reading it too. He was like, "Yeah, this book's really good." So I read it, and I was like, "Wow, I really liked that." So then I read like book 2, and then I was like, "How many are there?" And then I was like, "Oh, the author died." Like this was like I was getting into this, like, and it was like such a weird time to get into it. And actually, I finished book 13 2 weeks before A Memory of Light came out. So I do feel guilty because I did not have to wait at all. It was just like
nice.
I just gotta, do the thing. But yeah, I read them all, I think, in a 6-month period while I was getting my grad degree. So I was really just like, and I never looked back ever. Like I started adult fantasy, and that hooked me.
Has there anyone else here never looked back? Okay, I want to ask a couple questions of my other guests here, because that's really 6 months is really impressive to have. I kind of wonder how fast I would have read these books if they'd all been out. And so I don't know if it's fair to say how long we've been reading the books, because it's like we had to wait for those books. But what year did you start reading, Grace?
I think it was like 97.
97? Okay. Honest?
2000?
2000?
97.
97?
Yeah.
These are all old people here. Bookborn.
Well,
I
started reading in 2011 or 2012, so I feel very embarrassed. Like, look at me, I'm the late fake fan, I guess. Coming in hot in 2012.
Everybody's welcome here.
Yeah.
No,
No
yeah.
judgments.
Come
on in.
No one's too late.
There's no fake fans here.
There's no fake fans.
So what about you, Matt? How long have you been?
I've been reading since 1990. That's right. It's a long time. Okay. So, and then you read it in 6 months. I have to ask you this question. Did you go back and read it?
So I have gone back and reread it. Yeah. A while ago. I actually reread the first 3 in prep for season 1. So I've read those 3 like most recently as a reread again. And I'm planning on finishing the series again. When I reread it most recently, I was like, yeah, I was right. These are great. Like, you always worry, like, when you read, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I had that experience because we, have you heard of Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, Dragonlance? One of our favorite series. And so I went back and read like the first book in that series, and it doesn't hold up.
It does not hold up.
No, and I was like, oh shoot, but the characters are the things I loved.
Yes.
And they held up, but I don't know. It was like the plotting. I don't know. It was so
the
much.
pacing and the writing.
It was so hard.
Yeah.
So I want to know. Okay, then from everyone here, and Bookborn, we'll start with you. A fantasy series that has not held up. Do you have one where you're like, I went back and read it, was not as good when I first tackled it? That's right. I put our guest on the spot.
Yeah.
So you 3 have a lot of time to think about this.
So
what do you? Yeah. Is there one that's coming to mind?
I mean, it's a little bit more kidlit for me because I have a son, and I've been rereading things with him. And sometimes I reread stuff and I'm like, interesting. I did not remember that was in there.
Right.
And that was The Secret of Platform 13, which I don't think people are really going to remember. Like, does anyone know that book? Probably not.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, that was the big one. Also, not fantasy, but Murakami. Murakami was really big for me. Have you guys read any Murakami? Reread as an adult and was like, interesting.
Not as
different.
much.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Murakami is a choice.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It's not for me.
But otherwise, I don't know. Nostalgia is big for me.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. So, because I started reading The Wheel of Time when I was 15, so it does take me back, right? When I go back and read the first book, I'm like, these kids are so stupid. But then there's a moment where I can be like, no, I can try to read it from that voice in my head of like that experience of like,
but I think that's interesting because I did say in my most recent reread that I used to not like Nynaeve. And I used to be like, oh, she's so obnoxious. But now I'm an adult. And I'm like, oh, Nynaeve's an adult. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Actually trying to be an adult in the room. So I do think it's fun to read them as a young person and then see who you identify with a little later
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you become an adult.
What you're saying is someday I'll like Sen Bui. someday I'll be like 70, like he was right the entire time. Like that's what. Okay.
Trollocs!
What's yeah, exactly. Maybe that's Todd. Todd is so angry about the Trollocs because I haven't reached Todd like age yet.
Oh, no.
When I reach
Oh,
Todd's
okay,
age,
okay.
I will finally get his rant about Trollocs. No, I'll never understand that. Okay, so for you, what's the book series that did not hold up from your youth? I took Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's Dragon.
Sure. My choice would be Piers Anthony's Xanth series.
Doesn't hold up, huh?
No, not at all. When you read them when you're a teen, they're really fun. There's the world is full of puns and humor, like crude humor, but it's targeted at young adults. And then when you read it as an adult, you're like, this adult man wrote books about fairly like inappropriate topics targeted at teens.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
it does not hold up. It gives you like creepy old man vibes when you
Okay.
reread it. Oh, it's so bad. It's
Okay,
so bad.
I have to show a couple comments here. First of all, thank you so much. Dennis Nova said, 2 of my faves on the same stream. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel of Bookborn. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Dennis. And I have to scroll down here. I feel bad about this. I don't really. So what happens, Bookborn, is I do enjoy somewhat torturing my friends. But like in really nice ways.
I sat
no,
in
no,
the chair.
no. But let's be clear.
It's more torture for you.
No, but it's human. Like you can stand. Like, but I understand it can get tiring. So if you guys, we'll figure out some
I want to
seating.
demonstrate something here so you all appreciate the
He's crouching.
situation that I am in. Because
Okay, so maybe for
So
you,
he's not,
Brian.
he's slouching.
You
not
are
standing.
okay. Let's,
Which is worse.
okay, look a little bit. So everyone understands.
they're standing, I'm squatting. It's leg day, people.
So a little bit. So everyone understands. We have a 12-hour live stream on Friday, and these wonderful people will be here with me. And so we're testing things out, and now we understand Brian definitely needs a chair. And so we'll find some chairs, everybody. We'll find some chairs. Okay.
Brian,
Grace,
should we do what we practiced? Is it all right?
Oh, yeah,
do it.
To like really
this
shine.
is the moment. Yeah.
The moment.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no. No, go over a little bit. A little bit.
Tilt your head the other way.
Yeah. Turn your head to the other way. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
We did it.
Nailed it.
You did.
Nailed it.
By the way, so everyone understands, that is the type of evening we're looking at right now. So we're not here to spoil the season. I've stopped going online to watch stuff. Like I saw, other than Landfear related stuff, I do watch those things. I'm weak. I'm very weak when it comes to that character, so I have watched a couple things. But I'm avoiding some of these screenshots. There's descriptions out from each episode. I don't know if to believe them or not. There's like little clips of episodes people say happen late. They feel like they've seen something from the end. I don't want all that much information. So please don't talk about it in chat tonight. Keep your discussion to like the trailer. Like that's fine, but you don't mention the clips. I know we've covered a couple of them here, but there's people in chat that don't want stuff spoiled. There's actually some people right here that don't want things spoiled. So we're going to keep some of that conversation. We're going to kind of keep it high level, talk as fans about the book and about the premiere. So I didn't say that yet. We were having too much fun. So
Yeah.
is everyone, we're on the same page here?
Yeah.
Okay. Grace, for you, a series that didn't hold up.
So I can't answer this question because the only series I ever reread was Wheel of Time.
Really?
So I've
okay.
never gone back and reread. I would like to read the Redwall series again. That's
Okay.
one of the first like long fantasy series I read.
Okay, list all the series you've read, and we'll tell you which ones didn't hold up. No.
Let's not do that. But yeah, I can't answer that because
Okay.
yeah, and I don't typically reread, but Wheel of Time I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I think it's like fantasy. I recently reread Garth Nix. He has the Abhorrent trilogy,
No.
and on the reread, I just didn't feel it as much as I thought I liked it the first time around. It was still good. It wasn't bad. It was just I put it down. Like I was like, okay, cool. I kind of remember this. This was fun, but I didn't finish it.
Okay.
So yeah. that
It
was-
I
happens.
haven't
It
read
happens.
Nyx, so I'm
Yeah.
curious now.
Yeah.
Maybe I wonder how it'll hold up for me.
Yeah.
Taylor, you're getting called out in the chat, by the way. Where's Editor Reborn? Editor Reborn's like working on, he's seeing your comments. I haven't been focusing on this about audio. He's testing all these things so that this all works really well on Friday. But until then, we're gonna have fun. So we all clearly have reread The Wheel of Time, and it's a series we think held up.
Holds up.
Is that I'm going to answer this by this finish this poll right here. Almost 400 of you have voted on this poll. Will season 2 of The Wheel of Time improve on season 1? The answers I gave you were yes a lot, yes somewhat, yes a little bit, and no. And so I got to throw the no in there because I know I'm going to have some people in chat that either really feel that or just like to answer the no on any poll. So 73% say yes a lot, 18% say yes somewhat. So this is definitely a crowd of, and like I think I've said this many times before, which is I love how hopeful our fandom is. You know, whether or not it's a book that Robert Jordan's going to write for us that doesn't belabor plot lines we don't like, and we're just like, no, he's going to end it. He's going to take us to the end, and then he writes another book, and we're like, we got nowhere. It's like we got a week. That's it. That's all that happened. But next time, he's going to give us our favorite character. So we're definitely a hopeful fandom, at least the fandom that I've interacted with. So I'm going to end this poll up, and I want to talk about this idea tonight. So, okay, but I'm going to ask this poll first. The poll is, how long will Brian stand tonight? Thank you very much.
Squat.
Squat tonight, yes. Do we have answers, possible answers? Well, how long will squat
That
Brian
is,
tonight? There we
Dusty,
go.
okay.
Squat.
Witnessing a Dusty poll
How long
happening
will
live.
Brian squat tonight? Let's say the entire show. Other options here, people. This poll
an
isn't going to
hour.
fill itself. An hour? Okay. Okay. An hour. We've almost been here
There
half
are
an
neither
hour.
beginnings or endings to Brian's stand.
Brian,
Squat.
he'll never.
How often do you work
5
out,
more
Brian?
minutes.
Just
Yeah,
like
how often-
leg day. You have fresh.
Yeah, how often?
That's
do you,
it for the Dusty Wheel tonight. Thank you very much.
How often do you work out? Do you-
5 times a week.
5 times a week. So he's in it. Like you. This is a good point, Bookborn. We should have asked that question first. Well, at least we have. We haven't given people answers. The entire show, an hour. He'll never stand again. There we go. Okay.
What about 12 hours? What about like
12 hours?
times
Yes.
you
Yeah.
should squat?
All,
yes.
Yeah.
All night.
There you go.
All 12
Friday.
hours on Friday.
So Brian
This is
has
very much a Dusty Wheel
a
poll.
well-turned calf.
Yeah, well-turned
Well-turned
calves.
calf.
Yes, Brian does. Yes, for sure.
So this is more about the quads.
Yeah, I know.
And well-turned
voting
quad.
all
Is
12
that a
hours.
thing?
You're voting all 12 hours? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I'm voting. It's more
Bookborn trusts you.
challenge.
There you go.
Yeah. It's more a
I'll
challenge.
live up to it. Do my best.
Okay, so around the room really quick and in chat, just overall, give me your overall, remind me of your overall ratings for season 1. Go. What was your-
7.
7.
7.5.
7.5. I was like 6 to a 7. It depends on the day. Bookborn?
Probably 6.
6. Okay. Not a huge surprise that we're. I feel like. Editor Reborn over there.
I don't think.
Do you need to explain your 0 to 10?
I'll do
Yeah, that's true. I'm
Okay,
very
Bookborn.
strict
Have
about
you ever
0 to
heard
10.
about Taylor's rating system?
I haven't.
You haven't heard about his rating
You should
system?
listen to that
Rating
episode of Barside
Yeah.
Chats.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
a good episode.
Yeah, it's on one
Taylor-
of the episodes.
Yeah.
We've done a podcast, and I'm seeing ratings here. Thank you very much. I didn't even prompt you guys. You guys are chat is like a whole other show, but sometimes they're listening too, and I love that they're already filling. What I'm not seeing a lot here, and I didn't hear between any of us, is other people saying it was a 10.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, I think we know it wasn't a 10, and we don't have at least people here going, no, it was. And I'm going to convince myself that it was the greatest show ever. But also a lot of people that I think, and I'm guessing this is going to actually turn out tonight, which is, are not like overly hateful. So it's like,
Right.
I think I'm pretty easy to please with TV, if that makes sense. Taylor's shaking his head. I don't have the Taylor rating system. He'll always be like, what do you rate that? I'm like, I don't know. I enjoyed it, so it was probably like a 7. He's like, a 2, you mean? And I'd be like, no, a 7. I'm like, fine.
That's absurd.
So
He kind of enjoyed it. It's not a 7.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
I think kind of enjoyed it for Taylor's like a 5. So
That just makes sense.
That's me. I think
does
Taylor
kinda
and I
make
see
sense.
more eye to eye. 'Cause I think
okay,
people
so
are
you're
like,
more
a
Taylor.
6.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, that feels like
It's in the top
That was
half.
fine. Like a 6
Okay.
isn't a bad
No,
rating.
you and I see more eye to eye.
In real life, we would not be seeing eye to eye. But
Brian is just using that as an excuse to kind of give his legs some
Yeah.
rest.
Get
He just wants to kind of like, hey,
Oh,
let me
shit.
move myself. There's a lot of pain over here. By the way,
My legs are
I mean,
in hours probably the extent of your
Okay.
squatting.
Okay.
So, by the way, this is a very split poll. That's really good. The reason why I made that point was I think that we all are very hopeful for always like the best we can get.
Yeah.
Understanding when maybe not, and like really annoyed when the thing that we really care about just isn't like well done. So maybe I want to start. Let's start with hopes. When it comes to a season 2, Bookborn, is like what stands out to you like as like the top hope you have coming into watching this as a Wheel of Time fan, and then as also someone who looks into and deep dives into fantasy. Is there the thing that stands out most to you, and then all of you think that I will let her off the hook and not answer first,
Okay.
but in the future. But I'm going to ask you first on this one. So what's your one top hope?
I think realistically, like a realistic hope is I hope that now the whole mystery box is done, that we will get to see a more complete picture of who the characters are. Now that they don't have to worry about keeping that a secret, I am hopeful that Perrin and Matt and Rand and Egwene can start developing as their own people separate from that mystery, which was something that I thought was lacking in season 1. I understood why they did it, but I think it ultimately harmed character development. And so I think that's like a
slowed it
realistic
down, as in, or just kind of artificially forced
think
it down
that,
the path.
I just think, like, for example, Perrin, I would have loved to see the Wolf storyline be a little more developed, and I think they didn't because they were worried that that would stop the red herring.
Gotcha.
And I just think there were opportunities, even as late as episode 8, to further that storyline. And I think that's like a realistic hope. Like, I think that the show could definitely accomplish that. My absolutely unrealistic hope, whose name I'm going to mispronounce because I mispronounce everything, but Igtar, why can't I think of his?
Ingtar.
Yeah.
Hold
yes,
on.
exactly.
Hold
Yeah.
on one second. Let me put this up here. Thank you. For anyone that's watching right now, if you've never read The Wheel of Time, know that. Are you going to spoil anything just through book 2? Is that what we're thinking here? Is that?
Yeah, that was a book 2
okay.
spoiler I was about to say.
So book 2, at the very least, we're going to go through book 2. If you haven't read book 2 and don't want to hear any spoilers, I'll try to take this banner down when we're done. But go ahead. People have been warned at least to step away if they don't want any book spoilers.
I mean, I won't even spoil it, I guess.
But yeah.
I just
no,
love
but go
his
ahead.
storyline.
No, go ahead. Yeah. So you're
his
hoping to
storyline
get
in
his
book 2.
entire... You're hoping to get Ingtar's entire... Okay.
I feel like they're just not even going to have him. Like, I just feel like his story won't even be there, which is understandable.
Now, when you say not have him as a character or just not have the storyline, because we know the character.
Not have the storyline.
exists.
I know he's
Okay,
in there.
Okay.
I just don't know. I guess where they left off in season 1, I'm just not quite sure how they would get his storyline in the way that we witness it in book 2 there, which honestly I understand. You have so many characters in the Wheel of Time. Like, it's just, you can't on a TV show. But
no, you
it
can.
is one of my favorites.
You absolutely can, and I'm going to be mad about the fact that you can't for the rest of my life.
That's my unrealistic hope.
That's a reasonable. What I mean by that is, to me, that's not even an unrealistic expectation, like, or hope. That is a hope that I would have for sure. Okay, Grace, for you. Sorry, I see comments in chat, and it like takes me out of the show for a second. But yes,
Sarah James.
stool fund for Brian. Yes. I will tell you. No,
Thank you, Sarah
This
James.
space is much smaller
I will tell
than
you
you
all
think.
of this. I will tell you. I promise you this. If you want to donate to a stool fund tonight, I will get them stools tomorrow. Whatever funds come in just for this time, I know we've been giving them all to support WGA and SAG-AFTRA, but for this moment, if you want them to go, put stool fund in your comments or on your tip there's a link to tip just directly. If you put stool fund as related to it, I will go back right now. I'm going to go try to find 3 stools for $20. So whatever
We're sitting on three buckets
stools.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, it might just be buckets. That might be what happened. Okay, cool. So for you, Grace, what's your hope?
So it's my hope, but I think it's already coming true, which is that it will be visually more interesting and
okay.
and better. I don't know if this is like a controversial term, but better quality. I think that's what pulls people into watching a show, especially non-book readers. So I think if the visual effects and the colors, the sets, the costumes, if that is really impressive this season, more so. I mean, there were some great moments in the first season, but if it's more impressive this season, I think that will pull more people in to be watching the series.
Gotcha. So at the very least, like good television, like quality views, whether or not it's because I had this. Did anyone follow my wife? My rewatch.
Yeah.
So Bookborn, my wife has been around the Wheel of Time because of me for a long time, but she's not like a fantasy reader. She has read, I think, the first 2 books, maybe book and a half, and she obviously has heard a lot of these Wheel of Time terms like for the entire time we've been married. She didn't realize I was like a huge book nerd until like she woke up and at like 2 o'clock in the morning I'm reading a book in my hallway with the light on out there or whatever. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Reading." And she's like, "No, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't understand the question. I'm reading." And she's like, "This is weird." But she's been always very supportive of the channel and the website we had done and the community. Brian, she's become friends with all of my Wheel of Time friends, but it's never like really kept all the information like straight about things. Asmodean and Lanfear are always the opposite people, which makes me laugh so much. And I'm bringing this up because I did a rewatch of season 1 with my family. I didn't comment on it. I just wrote down things they were saying as we went. It was decently fun. Like at the beginning and the middle, everyone was kind of a lot quieter. Episode 8 was like my wife had like she hadn't seen it or something. She was so engaged. Like I was like typing out this whole thing, and I realized like she didn't really care exactly that this was consistent with the books. She just wanted to watch something interesting, exciting, engaging. And for her, episode 8 actually was those things. Like, she was like, "Wait, who's this guy? He can't do that," and she's like trying to figure it out. And so as a book fan, I'm like, no, I didn't like episode 8. But I loved episode 8 in her eyes, if that makes sense. Like, so to your point, Grace, I think it does a lot to pull in new viewers that are not going to care about the nuances or the details of an adaptation, but they just want to watch quality television. So I think that's a decent hope, and hopefully it plays out. I mean, we've seen a little bit. We'll play the trailer here in a bit. So, yeah, for you, what's your hope?
I think the ending. My hope is the ending should land because it didn't, at least to me last time. That it should land better and not have 10 horses fighting 2 Aiel and 3 Seanchan. I want it to be a big battle. Because it is a big battle.
Like the behind-the-scenes clip, you don't want it to be those 8 white
no,
folks.
with like a sand blower thing. So I want whatever they do. I think they can commit to making choices. But if their choice is this is a huge battle and it's 10 people,
what you're saying is you don't want another cavalry run on the wall.
No,
that doesn't turn into anything. Okay, that's fair.
No,
okay.
I think in the sense that because it has to land.
Sorry, I'm just showing all these like the stools. There you go.
Wow.
I love this one. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say how great it is to see Bookborn on the show. I love how welcoming the community is. Great work, guys. Thank you very much. 3 left feet. Absolutely. Hopefully everyone feels that. Again, even people that hate the show, I still feel like are part of the community. I don't appreciate the just teen angst. I have teens, and just the severe level of just like, I'm going to hate on something. But they obviously were fans of the books, I believe, and I hope, not that I'm care to have people that hate on things on the show here, but I hope out there someone finds some space for like the fact that this is a fandom, and we hopefully don't hate each other and we're not taking it out on each other. So even if we dislike something. So, Brian, what's your hope here?
So my hope for season 2 is if you think about all of the stuff that happens in books 2 and 3, and even the rest of the series, is like they have to cut a lot. They have to change stories a lot. They have to make really tough decisions, and they did that in season 1, and it didn't quite land as much as I think we all wanted it to. So I really hope that season 2 they're able to give us a path forward that is true to the stories, that also is converted to the screen, adapted to the screen, in a way that feels authentic to us. That doesn't feel like we're missing the best parts, like, you know, the Ingtar plotline. Like we don't want to feel like we're missing that, but they're gonna have to cut some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I really hope that they have done a really good job of figuring that out this season, or at least better than season 1.
No,
that would be mine.
That's reasonable. And to that point, Bookborn, I want to ask you, so for season 1, was there something where you thought it was actually a well-crafted consolidation of certain plots or certain arcs from book 1 or from the series, where you were like, hey, they tried something and it worked in this way? And if so, what was it for you?
I don't know if it's a consolidation, but it is a change that I actually liked, that they did in the show, which was at the end. We can do like season 1 spoilers, right? That's okay.
Oh, season 1 spoilers. Yeah, for everyone,
Great.
we're spoiling season 1. If you didn't watch it,
Too bad.
watch a different show. So.
Which is, you know, at the eye of the world, Rand has this vision of him married to Egwene with a baby, which is kind of, in my opinion, stolen from Egwene's test for accepted. It's very similar, at least, to her accepted test. And even when I was reading the books, I always felt that Egwene was never a character who actually really desired that. But Rand was. I always felt that Rand was the person who sincerely would have never left the Two Rivers and would have been perfectly happy there. And I thought actually it was a very good character moment for him in the show, and I liked it. Like, I know it wasn't necessarily true to the book, but I thought it worked really well in that portion to explain who Rand is and how he's maybe different than some of the other characters. I enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll be honest. It wasn't until you said that I can accept that part of it.
I hate that part.
I hate that part.
So
Yeah.
popular.
I hate that part. Well, I have a whole thing about just, I felt like this settled into the plot arc of Rand's relationship with Egwene. And this goes back to something you said at the beginning. That was one part where I actually thought Jordan didn't do a great job of it. I like what they did. I just felt like they stayed in too long. And I thought there were other options to kind of break out of that. And it felt like they came back right at the end. And I was like, why you come back? But the way you framed it, then it's totally different for me. Like, if that makes sense. Like,
because I think she's not there, right? And I think we get that sense even in the show. Like, Egwene is, I mean, that was actually a change I didn't like. I didn't really like that they made her ta'veren, because I liked in the book how she was like, you can't leave me behind, because I think that's very much her character. But I think we got a sense of that in that scene where it was like, this is Rand's vision. This would not be Egwene's vision of what the Two Rivers would look like as happiness. So that's how I can accept that. You get what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. Like, this wouldn't have been, if that had been Egwene in that moment, that is not what the scene that for
I
her,
don't think it would
have been the struggle. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing lots of head shakes here. Yeah. So that one, I think, is true. And you picked an episode 8 one, which I just don't like episode 8 as much. So I hadn't even gone there. So I think that's awesome that you picked on like that up and found that like as something that they went for, and it succeeded for you. If this makes sense, I don't think my wife ever even questioned the idea of that scene, other than just accepted it on the premise that it was delivered. Does that make sense? Like, we're all just like, what's
this
that
coming
from this? Is this flicker? What is it? But why would you put it here? And we're kind of dissecting in that way. And for her, it was like, no, this is just how this worked out as a scene. So for you, Bookborn, is there one where you think like they went for it in season 1 and it just didn't work out for you?
Yeah, it was the Warder storyline.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people that didn't work out for. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. And you know, I hesitate because I don't think I hated that episode as much as many people did. But I think it really missed the mark for me. I think it spent a lot of time on characters that ultimately left the show. For a book that has so many characters, I wondered if we could have reframed what they were trying to do in that episode with characters that we will stay with more. And I think it was just a little bit of a waste of time ultimately in the grand scheme of things.
Sure. And I've heard that I've heard a lot of fans thought that. Now there's you actually just talked about it like a normal person. I've actually, the most of the time when that's brought up, it's not talked about that way. In other words, it's very much framed in the like, this, where did this come from, and this is like some blah blah blah, you know. So, but no, I hear you, and like I said, and thank you very much. I see Boo respectfully. Yes, I hope chat has been always really good. Mods are really great, and thank you everyone for being respectful about that. We can disagree without, you know, disagreeing fervently in a just like an unwelcome way. So yeah, some fans agree with that, some fans don't. So totally get that one didn't, for me, that was kind of like a midline one. It was like, I wasn't like, this is amazing, and I wasn't like, I was just like, okay, this is part of the story that's interesting. Let's
I think
move on.
if we get to season 3, 4,
Hold on.
then that.
Is there a book wise that you want to spoil? so
No,
we can talk about it? Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess
Spoil
so.
now, spoil.
When we get to season 3
So
or
there's
4, like, they were setting up stuff,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and we're gonna look back at season 1 and say to ourselves, like, wow, how did they fit that in so early? But if we don't get that far, it's a completely wasted season.
yeah.
And I agree with you. Like, I do think it's setting up important things, but I think because I felt that there was a lack of focus on our main characters, it was hard for me to be like, why are we setting up something in season 4 when I feel like we haven't set like a groundwork for season 1?
I agree with
Like,
that.
I agree with you, because I didn't, in isolation, I don't hate that episode at all. Like, I actually like what it is doing. It is in the concept of we only had 8 episodes
Yes.
that I
Right.
struggle with that
Yeah.
episode.
If we had 12, 14, 16 episodes,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah,
much
yeah.
better.
Well, and this goes back to that kind of 10 episode
Right.
arc that Rafe originally apparently had for season 1, and I wonder if you had seen that whole form, it would have felt less like
Yeah,
what you're
I think
talking
that
about.
makes sense.
I'm going to end this poll at about 300 votes. How long will Brian squat tonight? By the way, people called out for more polls. I have not been doing a great job with getting all the polls people love here. They've been trained really well. I like usually there's like 40 polls a night. Well, maybe not that many. But Brian, entire show, man.
Oh, God.
Wow.
30%. That is
Tomorrow.
this is a hopeful fandom, like I said at the beginning. What's our next poll?
I think we have a dinner reservation in 30 minutes. Is that right?
What should we ask? A chat is 30% polls. A Bookborn, do you have a poll here you'd like to ask our viewers tonight about the Wheel of Time, season 1, season 2?
Gosh, you keep putting me on the spot.
I do.
So
This
quick.
is you're learning
Okay.
kind of how this goes.
What about
Okay.
the Ash Mount, like the Rand's mom scene, which I loved, but apparently a lot of people hated.
Oh,
Can we ask
from,
about it?
Yeah, so you're saying from the end of
Episode
By the
7.
World. Oh, Rand's
No,
mom
no.
scene. Okay,
The
sorry.
Blood
I was thinking
Snow?
of it. Blood Snow.
Who hates the
Yeah,
blood
yeah.
snow?
Let's
So-
know.
People hate
Okay, you
that?
want to ask? What do you want to ask
This
about
crowd,
Blood Snow?
What?
it's gonna be 100% love.
Okay, then we shouldn't ask it. See, maybe it's my commenters like went on me so hard for loving that scene. Where like I
Oh,
almost
no.
teared up during that scene. That's my
No.
embarrassment.
Like we
So
didn't even
good.
we like
Let's
we like exclude that scene from our like best scene choices because it always wins.
Yeah.
So we say let's put it to the
teared
side.
up during the blood snow scene. What about
How
that?
about,
Like,
how about this? Who hates Blood Snow? Me or no one? Is that an
Yes.
acceptable?
yeah.
Who hates Blood Snow? What? Oh, Blood Show.
oh, these are my people. No people.
You
were like,
should have let me post that. I put Who Hates Blood Show. That would have been hilarious. Don't stop Dusty polls from happening. Okay, that's you gotta let that live in the moment. Man. Okay.
People got really fixated on the no veil, and it was like,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
Just like
look, like I get it, but just let it go. Like it's about how the scene makes you feel,
Yeah.
and the
This
scene
is-
made
yeah.
me feel something, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a wild criticism. This is like when Todd criticized Trollocs in episode 1 or 2. You can be annoyed like it wasn't the perfect Trolloc for you, but they were so
was
good
like-
that to pick on the little things about them that were like not perfect to me is
Wow.
kind of just
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
she was
that's-
no longer intending to kill anybody at that point. She was just defending herself.
Yeah,
So
she
she
was-
wasn't veiled because she wanted to show she wasn't a threat, and she killed all those people because she had to. She wasn't going to take the time to put it back on because she's pregnant and fighting people.
Hey,
So
hey, Bane
I-
and Chiad,
I
what do you know
feel
about
like-
the IEL?
I feel like
People were also like, she was too pregnant to be fighting like that. And I'm like, have you read the book? That's the point. It's the point.
she's also Aiel, so
No one, a book fan said she was still too pregnant to be fighting. That's the funniest statement when she was on the mount. Anyways, that is
Look,
hilarious.
a friend of mine swam
did it
from Los Angeles to Catalina Island, which is like 23 miles, while she was 6 months pregnant. So like,
No, Brian.
that's impressive.
Robert-
Pregnant women can do
Pregnant
crazy
women
things.
can't do anything. Nope. They can't.
Killing like
I'm
7
holding you to a
people.
higher
in bed.
standard.
I'm just saying, Robert Jordan put her there, and the fans are like, unrealistic.
I think it was like realistic. She killed like 7 people. 10? If it was 10,
10.
that's where I draw the line.
I gotcha.
7, yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, this one I didn't. And by the way, I just wanted that. They set the standard there with Aiel that I think is going to hurt them in the end.
Yes,
That's like,
yeah.
we're always going to judge every Aiel. Like, I almost feel bad for. We know Avienda's going to be in this.
And Bane and Chiad.
And Bane and Chiad are going to be in this new season. I feel bad because unless they've used the bolt camera and unless they're giving us like really, I mean, maybe they're gonna do it. Maybe every time the Aiel fight, it's gonna be the bolt camera and it's gonna be these really cool like cinematic things. So I'm open to that.
I would be happy.
If you're watching chat, Bookborn, what we said, 250 people have voted, 97% said no one. So, like we said, okay, everyone wave goodbye to Taylor.
Bye,
Taylor.
Bye, Taylor.
See you, Taylor.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So, like we mentioned, this is definitely not the crowd that hates Bloodstone. It can be a crowd that hates a number of things. It's just not Bloodstone.
Yeah.
That's not a hated thing.
Let me
go
ask a question now.
Okay.
So we rated our season 1. You know what would we
Yeah.
rated season 1?
Right.
What do you think you'll rate season 2?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. I'm going to ask chat that. Would somebody else like to jump in there while I ask chat? Brian, what do you
hope?
No, so you're saying what do you guess you're going to rate? Not what do you hope.
No,
What do you
what
guess
guess.
the final rating? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What will you actually rate?
So I originally rated season 1 into 7, and I'm really, really confident that season 2 is going to be better. So it's got to be at least an 8. I'm hoping a 9.
Okay.
I think realistically, probably like an 8.5, because there's going to be trouble, I think, bridging season 1 to season 3, and we're probably going to run into that, and we're going to see. We already know, I think, about some changes in season 2 that are not totally book canon, and I think we're just going to see more of that. But everything I've seen so far says it's better, so the score has to go up.
Yes.
It has to go from at least like an 8, 8.5, 9.
But you think realistic? Okay. By the poll's up. Everyone start voting on that. Bookborn, you didn't have to go first this time. I'm sure you got an answer. What do you guess right now with whatever you've seen so far and what you know of those books, etc.? Like all together, what do you guess? You're at a 6. Where do you think you'll be at the end of season 2?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Grace?
So I was a 7.5 for season 1, so I'm going to say it's going to go up to an 8.5 for season 2.
Wow. Okay.
So I was a 7. I think it's going to be like a bigger jump. I think it's going to be 8.5. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, these book 2 and 3, they're like
So good.
so good.
This is a very Bookborn. I don't know how well you know my Wheel of Time obsessions, but
I mean, I know a little bit. I know
So-
some of them.
so
Do you know Lanfear?
I don't know how I live or like have watched your channel and not known Lanfear.
Oh yeah, this wasn't.
Nailed it.
This was a terrible poll. Whatever. Look, I'm live. I'm hosting, and I'm trying to do polls. It didn't work out. Whatever. You figured out if you need to do 6 to 7 is 7 up to 8. Whatever.
Or you could just write it in chat.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't argue with the poll maker. Okay. So for me, and this shouldn't surprise anyone, largely my rating will be how well do they present the character of Lanfear and Varen. We know Varen's in this show.
And men.
Oh, you know,
And-
Baron is in my top 10 favorite characters, and so I am the most nervous.
Yes. So Varen, for me, it's largely not going to be how well they do anything else. So I am conservatively saying I'm going from like a 6 to a 7 to like a 7 to an 8. It's kind of, I'm very concerned.
Okay, what if
that
they do Lanfear
don't-
perfectly?
Yeah, I'm saying I would be at like a 9.5 probably, and people would be like, "What about that scene?" I'll be like, "With Lanfear." They're like, I don't care about the other scenes; like they were fine, but no, it won't be that extreme. But it'll be it would be kind of like that though. So I'm looking at the poll, by the way. Almost 300 of you voted on this. What do you guess your rating will be for season 2? See, this is what I'm talking about. I love the hopeful fandom, like 8 to 10. Like this is, but I think this is largely built on people's experience, right? Bookborn, for you, did you like Game of Thrones season 1 more than season 2?
I have not watched Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
okay. So give me a television show
actually-
around fantasy. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. It was. I actually just read the first book. This was a big deal
Oh,
for
okay.
my followers. I read the first book last month because I try to avoid like really explicit stuff.
Sure.
And so
that is, and
it was just
certainly
like
from
too much for me. But I did read the book and loved it.
Okay,
but I
so
probably will never watch the show because
the
just
book and
I'm
show.
not gonna be able to
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Same.
I saw that you had done a review on Game of
Definitely.
Thrones, so I was like, okay, maybe. So, is there a fantasy show that you've watched recently? Like, that doesn't count because it only has one season. I'm trying to think of like
The
is there-
Witcher?
like The Witcher. Did you like Witcher season 1 better than season 2?
Okay, well, I didn't like the Witcher books, so I didn't watch the show.
Watch
But
that.
I
Okay.
I do watch fantasy shows. I'm trying to think, cause like I'm trying to think of fantasy shows that I liked that had books attached to them. Because a lot of
Yeah.
the fantasy shows, I mean, okay, Good Omens. I loved season 1 of Good Omens. Now
What did you
it's
think
weird
was-
though, because season 2 didn't follow a book. So
Okay.
it's like,
That's
can you
hard.
really compare? But I do think in general, fantasy shows tend to gain steam. I do feel like a lot of the time, season 1 is kind of like
They're trying
like
to figure
a-
their way out. Yeah.
they're trying to figure things out, and then they get over the hump.
There's a lot of
I
world
mean,
building.
so,
that has to
so
happen.
A lot of other shows
well,
too,
that
not
too.
just
But like,
fantasy.
let's look at all the handicaps. You lose an actor. There's COVID.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things. Despite that, we largely enjoyed the season and had some trouble, and it didn't end well. Let's take away all of those
People
problems.
are naming some great shows I've watched
Oh,
in the chat here. Merlin.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Merlin is such a great show. couldn't even tell you if I liked. I
It's
guess
hard to
other
know.
people
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, Merlin was good. What else
Merlin.
did you see something else in there that you thought was?
Yeah, I'm
the-
trying to think. You know, Shadow and Bone. I actually thought season 1 was better.
Ooh, I haven't watched season 2 of Shadow
His
and Bone.
Dark Materials. Right, is that-
You know what? I haven't watched it yet
No,
because I
No.
read the 2 books actually as an adult. I'm waiting to read the 3rd book. I just never randomly read those as a kid, which I know is crazy.
Well, by the way, over 300 of
Oh,
you
Rings
voted
of
on this
Power.
one.
That's an interesting.
Well, Rings of Power isn't only this one season, so yeah.
Rings of Power
what do
only
you?
has 1 season. It was bad.
I'm going to end this 6 to basically 10 is what is that? 98% of you believe you'll rate this a 6 to a 10 by the end of this season. So, generally speaking, it sounds like most of us feel like they understand the books enough to give us enough of a show for us to recognize what we love and find things to love about it, but there's decisions that they're making and changes that they're making that are
Right.
just off kilter for us, it
Right.
sounds like. And so that's to me like, will that get any better? Like that's the question I have for everyone,
I mean,
which is, do you think that they've changed as showrunners and writers and people involved? Do you think that they've changed or just gotten like we have better costuming and more
Right.
like better cinematography, and we have obviously from a book standpoint we have more interesting things going on than in the eye of the world. So, but do you think that they have changed their approach?
I think so. I mean, if you think of the general reaction to the trailer, people were like, "Oh, they're showing or doing things
thing,
that
yeah.
we weren't really expecting,
Yeah.
maybe." And that reaction kind of told me, yes, people were maybe not expecting as much as they've seen, and the other stuff that they've hinted at. Forget the changes, but some of the things that they've shown us is like, yeah, they're leaning into the things that they think the fans, the book readers would like or are important to them. Because you're right, there are certain changes you can make that might not land. But if they go to like Tarvalon instead of Camelin, like they did last time, which was a good choice in my head, but did it land as much as they wanted to?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So it's those kind of changes where, big changes that hopefully, like those are not the changes they make. It's like certain smaller choices. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, that's, I guess for me, and maybe that's what it is do you believe, by shaking your heads, I'm going to try to look at my screen and you all, do you believe that they're going to lean into the books more than they did in season 1 and season 2? Or do you think about the same? Or do you think less? The Bookborn.
How are we going to show that by shaking our
You're
heads?
right.
That was three answers.
That was a dusty poll live. I don't know what to do.
Like that was not a yes or no question.
This is what I deal with every day up here, okay? Like, that's, look, okay. Don't shake your head. Just tell me the answer to that question. For you, Bookborn, where are you at? Like, do you think that they... Sorry. Having you here live is makes it even funnier because you're like, you could call me out, and normally I don't see that call out in chat for 20 seconds. Now I'm seeing it live. So, Bookborn, for you, do you think that they took some feedback and they were like, okay, we went a little bit far away from this, we're gonna lean in? Do you think they're like, no?
We started filming. I think we already started filming by the time episode 8 came out.
Yeah, they have started filming.
Yeah,
they weren't done.
I
don't think they weren't done.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
true.
season 2 wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they were done when season 1 came out. I think they were still going, but maybe somebody in chat can correct us. So yeah, maybe you bring up a good point. Was it really time for them to change approach other than just going with it they had already? So you're like, no, I think we're gonna get more of the same in season 2, basically that same approach.
Be more of the same, and what I need to remind myself every time, and I try to do this when I watch an adaptation, is at some point when I am too close to the source material, I am no longer actually a very good judge of what is good TV.
Yeah.
And so I do have a lot of friends who don't read but love fantasy TV. And so I try to surround myself with what is their beat on what is happening? And how can I view this as a good fantasy show and not only be attached to what I am personally extremely attached to? Right. Which the closer you are to the material is the harder it gets to remove yourself and have any sort of objectivity about what they're doing. So I try really hard not to set myself up going into this season is it going to be closer to the book? I am hoping instead for a general feeling of does it feel like the Wheel of Time? Do I feel like people are enjoying it? Because what fans don't get who are trying to sink the show is that if we love the Wheel of Time, we actually want the show to succeed, even if it's not exactly what I wish it was. Because I already see so many people who watch season 1 be like, "Oh, I'm interested because of the videos you did on it. I went and read the books, and I loved Eye of the World." And is there any better outcome than people going and reading it? That's my outcome, right? And so I try not to get too is it going to be close to the book, because I don't think it necessarily will.
Well, they've already made enough changes in the season 1 that season 2 and 3 can't be super close to the books.
Right.
So we just got to accept
we're
it.
Not even in the right location for the start of characters are not
right.
Characters are not where they should be. In fact, I actually, we're not really talking about the trailer yet, but I was surprised also pleasantly by the trailer. It does feel like they maybe are retconning a couple of decisions they made at the end of season 1 to get characters where they need to be.
Sure.
So that was a pleasant look for me, at least.
I asked everyone that a different question, but I about when they started reading the books, because that is I think something we've talked about a lot, was just how fun it is to meet someone that was like, yeah, I saw the show and then I picked up the books and I've loved the books. That is a great experience. And some of those people have been like, and wow, they made lots of changes, and you're like, yeah, they did. They made lots of changes, but you read the books and then you found fans online and you're talking about that, and that for our Wheel of Time fandom to me is a great thing. And this is, to see people it going worldwide, and it's the Wheel of Time is not, I don't know, that was that thing last year, at least for me it was, people know the name, the Wheel of Time, and it was always just such a, it's no, that's what my geeky friends and I do, and you'll never. But no, people have heard about it. They're like, oh, I actually saw something. There was an advertisement, or that's that thing with Rosamund Pike, whatever. You know,
Pop culture.
Yeah, like my
Yeah.
best friend, you know, she watches fan shows but does not read really fantasy books at all. And she's having a conversation. They watch the whole Wheel of Time. They're watching it again. And now I'm having a conversation with her about characters, you know? Like that's a very positive experience, whether or not, you know, it's exactly what I wanted.
That's awesome.
Grace,
I mean,
I was gonna say, Grace, do you have family members, friends, or anyone in your life that's just been like started watching the show, and then you've met and been like, oh my gosh, you're watching the show, and then it's been a conversation piece for you, or is it no, you're mostly book fans and they're
I've had conversations with a lot of friends and family about the show, but they're watching the show because of me.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it wasn't
Okay.
like an after the fact, but there's been a couple.
Influencer.
influence?
There's sir, look at you. Wrong
There's
finger.
been a couple people at work though
I'm an
who are
influencer
like,
too. Thank you.
like if I say the Wheel of Time, they're like, oh, I know that show. I just started watching it. It's really good. So I have had some of those conversations.
It opens up something that we love to a wider audience, and I think you're right. That's been really good, because I think people are right when they say when this ends, we don't get another adaptation immediately. You know what I mean? Like we're waiting a couple decades.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll be Senbui's age and we'll get another adaptation or something, but it's not going to happen that quick. Honestly, you were
Are
going to
you
say
having
something.
a little crisis about being Senbui? I'm feeling like
Yeah, it's the second time you've mentioned
Defense.
this.
Yeah.
Some tweeting time.
Look, we just talked about I was 15 when I picked up the books, and I was like closer to their age. Now I'm almost 50. Okay,
No,
so
no,
like
but his roof is
there's a
actually
gap, and I'm just
thatched.
like considering another. If I consider another
30
amount of
years.
years after that, that is like that's Senbui's age. So
Yeah.
but by the way, I love this one. Thank you, Oliver's ears. If Matt was a teacher with a test, I think I'd not go to school that day. Thank you. That's hilarious. So Lesbian Nerdy is in chat here and said, oh my god, I thought Grace and Brian were in a Zoom window. They're really there.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi Jenny. Good to see you. Great show tonight. Thank you, Steve. Looking forward to tomorrow, Friday. Stool Fund. Thank you. Matt Bowie. There we go.
Hatch with the thatch roof.
Yes. I agree. I am excited for tomorrow. I'm going to offer you all, and we've been standing here for an hour. Would you like to go sit down and watch the rest of the show from a couch, or would you like to stay here?
I'm good.
I'm good. Okay.
I'm good. I'm by default. Like, I'm not going to be the only one to go do that.
Hold the window.
That was the power of the people right there. That was Bookborn.
I don't want to have FOMO.
I'll leave. Do you guys need a?
Bookborn's like, oh, we have an option to go. I'm out.
Bye.
Yes, Village Mattress. Thank you for reminding us. The Dusty Wheel. Is this a live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time? It is a live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. If you would like to give us a call because you're like, hey, I would like a sixth guest for tonight, give us a call at 1-313-825-5968. That's 1-313-825-5968. Or Talk What. That's right. That's the only area code I could find to get the word Talk What. So the show is not in Detroit, but you are wonderful fans out there from Detroit that have called me many times, and you're awesome. Oh, I'll leave that up there for a second. So,
Yeah.
okay. I liked the topic that you kind of honed in on this. Does this look and feel? Is this the Wheel of Time, or what is? How you put it in a different word than that? It was like Bookborn. You said something about like it's not about how much they've like
How
adapted.
accurate it is to the book. It is how it feels while you're watching it. Does it feel like
does it
Yeah.
feel
what
like
you love
the Wheel?
about it?
Okay, so I want to dig into that one. Sorry, thank you for remembering what you said because I was stumbling there. I was like, I know you said something and it was really cool, and I want to know. Kate said, Matt, how hard has it been to not spill the beans on interviews or episode? Oh, okay, so I have seen episode 1. I don't know if you know that. I think you three do. Mm-hmm. So I've seen episode 1. They gave me 4 episodes for a press junket that they invited me to, and I decided not to watch episodes 2 through 4 because I wanted to watch it with everyone. So that was really difficult to do, but now it's almost there. So I'm really glad it's almost over. And the interviews, that wasn't as difficult. I was just excited to share them. So yeah, great question.
Yeah.
And now I have to remember how you said it again.
And how it feels.
How
when
it
you-
it feels.
Okay, look, I'm just trying to remember what the phrasing was, okay? So, when it comes to feeling like the Wheel of Time, give me not like Brian, what's the thing that made it feel like the Wheel of Time for you for season 1?
Pass.
Okay. I have one because I've talked about this a few times, and maybe it's not for everyone. For me, when Loyal walks into that library
That's it.
and Rand
Okay,
drops
yeah.
the book and he thinks Loyal's a Trolloc, and they have that conversation.
Yeah.
Even though Loyal might not look like what you thought in Ogier looks like, whatever that, I felt like I'm in, the Wheel of Time.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that's top for me, and probably close to that is just the feeling of Matt and Rand on the road in episode 3.
Yeah.
Hey,
That
just take
feeling.
mine.
Sorry,
while
okay.
you're-
And my third
He could say like
is
4.
Yeah, that's
and
for
we're
4
like,
of
okay.
yours. Give everyone else a chance. No, but the loyal, everyone makes fun of me because I'll say loyal, and then they'll be like loyal, whatever. That one is so good because they get the cadence right. In other words, people talking over him
Yeah.
is like, like if you just get that, that's all we wanted to see people like him going just long in the tooth, if you
Yeah.
will, and then like people talking over him. That is a really awesome one. Brian, we'll come back to you, and Grace. Bookborn, for you, what is for you feel like? What is that thing that felt like the Wheel of Time for you?
I mean, there were a few, to be honest. Like, as much as I struggled with lots of aspects of the show, there were also lots of aspects of the show that really, really felt Wheel of Time to me. And I guess my controversial one is a lot of the casting, especially Moraine and Lan, which I know Lan wasn't how canonically he was described in the book, but the way they portrayed Moraine and Lan's relationship, which is one of my favorite things about the Wheel of Time, really hit for me. Like, I really think they were able to nail the non-romantic but also extremely close relationship that those two had. And it felt like the Wheel of Time to me. Like, the Aes Sedai felt like Aes Sedai. Like, that felt like the Wheel of Time.
You were in there.
I was in it.
I'll be honest, the dresses took me out a little bit. Like, I've gotten over that part. Like,
That actually really bothered me too.
It
The
now
rings,
doesn't get in the
actually.
way. Oh yes, the rings and dresses. I was like,
so I'm wearing one. I've worn one since I read the series. I've worn one every day for like 12 years.
and you're
And the
like,
fact that they put their Aja color on the ring, like, sent me. And this is when I had to be like, this is book thing, let it go. Like, it's
Yeah,
just a
right.
stone on a ring, let it go.
totally get it. No, but no. When you said the Aes Sedai, I think they do. Like you said, I had to kind of turn away from the kind of like the little things about how their costuming was done. and
Yeah,
then
I did
just
not
kind
like
of-
the costuming.
Yeah.
I agree
But,
with that.
but
It-
dig into
yeah.
the Aes Sedai themselves. Yeah, the acting. Absolutely. I think that's a great one. For you, Grace, what was your, this feels like the Wheel of Time to me?
Yeah, what he said about the Tom, Matt, and Rand scenes.
Way to steal
like,
it.
There's just
Didn't you have the episode 2 Moraine, the Manetheren speech?
Oh yeah, Manetheren too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that
Manetheren
speech was
thing.
so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That was actually really, really well done.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that Rafe pushed. Doesn't he talk
Yeah,
about?
he
He pushed
actually
for that
went for it.
because they were like, why do we need this? I imagine that kind of why do we need
For
this
book
conversation
readers.
goes
Yeah.
on a lot. Like, why do we need that?
Yeah.
We have to have that. They're like, no, we don't need that. Why do we need this? We have to have that. Fine, you can have that. And so I'm sure there's like some moments where it's like he gets something like that in, and he's like, okay, I hope that, because he said something about season 1 where he's just like, I hope you find that one thing like we're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Like, I hope you find that one thing that is the Wheel of Time for you, and that is because know that we tried kind of thing. And I do believe that they tried. They've certainly made changes that I disagree with, but I do believe they've tried.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end this poll, by the way. Did you start reading the Wheel of Time after season 1? 8% of you out of the 310 votes. That's pretty good. 8% of you that are here in chat joined us started reading the Wheel of Time after season 1. That's awesome. So yeah.
The other thing they, I think, succeeded in is I now think of all the characters as who they casted.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that in my headcanon of who they are those people. And if it slowly, happened. And I think that's where, sure, plot points, choices they made, but the casting and how they've depicted some of those characters, I think it's on point. And I'm happy they did that.
I also think that there are 2 or 3 scenes that jump out at me as very real time. The Loyal in the library is a really great one. I thought Winter Night, like the two rivers in general, just seeing the two rivers, and the Winter Night was, we don't see Winter Night in the books, but it felt like a Trolloc attack. Like it felt like something Robert Jordan would write, and something like what actually happened in Winter Night. Like, not as many people died in the books, but it was still very like TV, Wheel of Time. That really worked for me. And then I think the Blood Snow was, again, not like a canon, like something we read line for line in the books, but it was also an Aiel kicking butt.
Yeah.
And like
That's how it went
me-
down. In my head, that is exactly how it
what
went down.
happened and on Dryden Mount with exactly.
Like Jordan would have written it like that.
Exactly.
By the way, Lane has a comment here. Oh, sorry, I can't show the whole thing there. He said, I'm very sorry for all the bean chat that has spilled over from the WattSeries.com Discord server into your chat tonight, Matt. It's been a thing for the last 2 days. I have no idea what this bean thing is about.
I don't know the bean thing.
So I'm sure somebody in chat will explain what the bean thing is about. Okay, so Bookborn, we do live call-ins, which was prompted by one of our chat users there. Village Mattress is awesome and very supportive. And we have 3 callers here. My callers that are listening, we have a really full house tonight. We absolutely want to hear from you. Like, try to get to the point and share your thoughts with us. But I probably only give you like 2 or 3 minutes with us. Sometimes we've given people 5-10 minutes, but just know as I bring you in, just have a couple minutes, and we want to get through these callers as we can. So I'm going to bring in. I know there's 2 callers are waiting longer than this caller, but they're calling long distance. So I'm going to bring them in out of the country. So I'm going to bring them in first here. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hello. It's
Jenny?
Jenny.
Jenny.
Jenny! Sorry, it takes us a moment. I was like, wait, what? Say it again. Jenny, how are you doing? Welcome.
I'm good. I was so confused when I turned. I was like, why is Anas there, but Grayson? I was really confused. Oh.
I think you missed the whole squat conversation.
Yeah, you missed the squad conversation. Brian, can you become?
I can recreate.
Can you
this,
become
but
Bookborn?
I can do it.
Can you no, become Bookborn. Bookborn.
To
okay.
do it for Jenny.
Jenny, yeah,
Just
this is
for
for
Jenny.
you. I don't know if you'll have to see this later. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that was pretty. You guys are getting much better.
Yeah.
At that.
Yeah.
That's very.
Practice makes perfect.
That's a little creepy right there. Someone I hope gets a screenshot of that one.
This is so good.
Does Bookborn know Jenny? By the way?
I totally waved at the screen earlier when you said hi, Jenny. I was like, hi. Oh, they can't see me. I'm a moron. What am I doing?
So, Bookborn, Jenny has her own channel.
I
Lesbian
definitely
Nerdy,
know Jenny's
so-
channel. Jenny and I
Okay.
have never talked, but
she's
I
famous.
absolutely know Jenny's channel.
Okay, excellent. So
Oh.
you are
Well, thank
known.
you.
You are famous, Lesbian Nerdy. So with that thought, like, what's your question for us tonight?
Not so much a question. It's just when you guys were talking about the costumes, I kind of had to call in because I personally loved the costumes. I have a whole video series where I just dug into all of the costumes, and I specifically with the ring. I didn't like the ring for like about 10 seconds, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's a genius thing because they aren't doing the ageless face because that would be really weird. That would be uncanny valley all over the place. But they need something that people can see. And like the rings that everybody's been wearing for decades, nobody's gonna like be able to see that from across the room and know that's an Aes Sedai. So the rings being really large and gaudy to me was a perfect compromise for that. To me.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't think about it that way. I'm gonna ask
I
chat
think it
that.
just
mean,
depends.
Moraine does
Yeah,
that.
like at the wine spring.
Yeah,
she,
Moraine actually does that,
Yeah.
and Mr. Salvier is like, "Oh yes, Moraine said I." Like,
she like,
like
touches
it's
her hair
clearly
and
they
like make
they
sure her
show
ring
it.
is
Yeah.
visible.
This is like
It's a choice. It's a choice they made.
yeah.
But it just
Interesting.
what it changes
Yeah.
is that a lot of times in the book they try to go incognito, and I feel like with their costuming that is not a
Yeah.
reality in the world of the show, which is like interesting.
Yeah.
Moraine takes off her ring,
Why do
and
you always
Valdo's
wear
like,
blue?
You're like
"You're not an Aes Sedai anymore."
No, I love this idea that Moraine's like shows up in shorts and people are like, just some person. And then she shows up in like a blue dress and like, Aes Sedai. I do like
Like
that
the
idea.
Superman thing where you just change
It's like
clothes and it looks like a completely different person.
Yes, that's that's the Superman effect.
need a phone booth
Jenny,
change.
interesting point for you. I want to ask you, Jenny, before we let you go, what is what's
Yeah.
for you the one thing that feels like the top thing that feels like the Wheel of Time? It makes it feel like the Wheel of Time for you in season 1.
I mean, you know my answer. It's Nynaeve. Specifically in season 1, it's a Nynaeve-Moraine dynamic.
Okay, so that dynamic. Okay, I was gonna say, like, yes. I mean, look, I can answer Lanfear everything, but I like that you put the dynamic of them together as the thing. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think she pulls that off perfectly. So, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Jenny, are you watching these as they drop? Are you gonna watch our reactions live? You're gonna do your own kind of like watch this, react, and then go on. And what are you gonna do tomorrow?
I mean, I'm gonna watch them as they drop, and then I'll be in it. Like, I have to go to work. Y'all know the time zone thing is an issue. At a certain point, like, I'm gonna have to go off and be a grown up and an adult, and then come back and join the fandom and everything in their celebrations. So.
It's not okay to be an adult tomorrow.
What are we doing? Like,
so
coming in person?
I literally quit my job so I can do this.
Yeah, all these people here are going like, I mean, we're adults.
That's what we are.
The Dusty Wheel called? I'm going.
Last year I actually took time off work.
Yeah.
I didn't do this year.
I get it. You've called out my guest here. I love it. Well, Jenny, it's awesome to hear from you. Can't wait to see your reactions to the show, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Love you all.
Bye, Jenny.
Bye-bye. So that's so much fun. By the way, I don't know if you've ever done that, Bookborn. I can say with a lot of experience, taking a random call from the internet or from a phone number that you put on the internet in a live call setting, that is one thing that takes a lot of getting used to.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I cannot believe you guys do that. I would never, ever. Would never. I haven't even done like an AMA. I don't want your questions on. Like, I don't want to have to react to anything live. No way.
I know it still doesn't get old. It kind of like really amps up the moment for me. I'm always like, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. What is this gonna be? I'm gonna end this poll really quick. Have these actors become your headcanon for the characters? 43% said most of them. 21% all of them. 26% said some of them, and 9% have said no. Is there someone for you, Bookborn, that you're like, who's your favorite character, I guess, in the books?
Moraine.
Okay. Who was the person in your head? Did you have was it like a famous person that you put in that role? Did you just have kind of your brain just came up with its own image, or did you not
own person.
think that way?
I'm not really I don't usually have a super strong picture in my head. I usually only have like vague ideas. So for me, like in a casting, it's way more vibe check. Like, I have had people cast that looked nothing like I kind of looked, but if they pass the vibe, then it's fine for me. So I'm like someone who cares probably not as much about the actual look of a character as many people, just because I don't really have like a vivid picture usually in my head. I can only tell you if it's not it. Like, sometimes I'll see someone like, I hate to say, the only person who really didn't work for me was Min. Like, whatever reason, like, that was not who I pictured in my head. But otherwise, everyone kind of passed the vibe check. But Rosamund Pike as Moraine is like, if the show gave me one thing, it gave me Rosamund Pike as my favorite character. Like, this is your Lanfear moment. This is me, like, being like, I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't screw up my favorite character. She's perfect. So, like, I'm fine.
I did see that in your video. I was like, okay. You're like, yeah, it's so interesting. I made this comment recently to a friend, and I said, like, I don't care about how they mess with other people's favorite characters. I care how they mess with my favorite characters, because so many people like were upset by, like, I can't believe they did this to that person, and I was like, I don't care about that person. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, so it didn't bother me. Messing up characters that people love, that's tough. Like doing, or like, not, I don't mean by look, I mean just having them just not fit the role that you kind of, how it translated from the books for you. So tell me this then, for all four of you, I need to go around the room. What character that's new this season, that you're aware of, that's going to be in season 2, in your mind you're like, please don't screw up that character. like get it right. I want that character to just had. Okay, you're all thinking. I like this. Everyone in chat, you can throw your chat ideas. I asked everyone in chat, by the way, are you planning on taking work off for the premiere? It's only been out there for a minute. Almost 200 of you voted on this.
I did take off work last year too, and I can't. We can't take off. My husband took off work. Like it was like someone's got to take care of the kids. Like all taking off work. Like this was a moment, and we can't.
That's a good husband. I feel like work doesn't want me. Not work, people at work. I just feel like I have work that needs to be done, but I'm just like no. It's like, I've taken the days off I planned, and we're doing this. So I will be taking it off, and we're gonna have some fun with that, right? So you've had plenty of time to think about this. You've all have thought about this. Who wants to go first?
Can you repeat the question?
Brian.
You can repeat the question. The question is.
Characters
What's
you have to know.
new season 2 character that they have to for you get right?
Aludra.
Aludra. No, but you know.
No.
But you don't know.
I
We
don't
don't know
know.
Aludra's going to be in season 2.
I know, but I would say I think we know Elias is in here, and I really want to see Elias done well.
Okay.
So Elias would be my vote.
Okay. How about Bookborn for you?
Varen and Elaine. Do I get 2?
I like how you do. Like, I'm going to say 2. Varen and Elaine. That's you're our special guest today. You absolutely can choose 2. Varen and Elaine. That makes sense for you, Grace.
I'm gonna go with Min's aunts.
I just love seeing that. Like Min's aunts are in the show. Oh, good. Okay, now seriously. Here. I guess I know who you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Avienda.
Avienda.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think we got a taste of how the Aiel are going to be when we saw the Q&A at JordanCon with Avienda, Bane, and Shiad, and I think they all, so far, like look like they're gonna get the vibe right.
It, yeah.
But Avienda, for me, I was on the Becoming Avienda show. I've seen a lot of Ayula's work, so I'm not quite sure yet, based on what I know about her, like if she's really going to be Avienda or not. So
okay.
I don't want her
waiting.
to screw it up, and I hope that she won't.
I like it. Honest.
Lanfear.
Lanfear. Yeah, I'm with you. That's the only real answer. That's good. Varen's a good answer too. And your answers are fine. Too.
What did you think mine was going to be?
I thought you were going to say Bane and Chiada. And then you
Oh,
said Avienda.
no, they're going to
all.
be great. Is
You're like, that's
Avienda-
they're
We're talking about that. We're talking
done.
about people that we're concerned about.
Okay. I let this poll go for like 30 minutes. Are you planning on taking work off the premiere? Only 36% of you out there are taking work off. Maybe it just shows up. Maybe it's dropping at a time you don't have to take off work for the people that are here. Because maybe I'm asking other people that would. This is the time of day. Maybe I'm asking everyone that's actually showing up at the show. So from a timing perspective, it's going to drop at like 5 p.m. Pacific, so they probably don't have to take off work.
Right.
That's
right.
this is
That is
probably. I didn't think about it. Maybe it's like a waste of a poll here. Okay. So
We have a limited number of polls, and you wasted more.
that's right.
The poll budget has been depleted.
We have. I'm definitely gonna get these 2 callers in. We have 2 other callers. We just don't have enough time for that, everyone. But these 2 callers will pull in. But Bookborn, I want to ask you some kind of just, and I'm gonna let the lights work here. Ask you guys have like a famous set of questions that you
Yes.
typically ask.
We do.
Do you have them in your head here?
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
We don't?
You do?
You
You
don't?
have them memorized?
I mean, like the main one.
Okay. I don't, but we could try.
Okay. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Do you want to ask? Okay, ready?
Do you want us to bring it up?
yeah,
I can do that.
Oh yeah.
Can we do that?
So you have to just give it the first answer that comes to mind. Okay. So
No.
like just quick, rapid fire kind of questions. And these are questions. These 2, all 4 of us do podcasts.
That's correct.
Yeah. These 2 run one called The Lights Work, and they always ask like a specific set of questions at the end of each interview. So I thought that would be a perfect thing. I'm just trying to delay and stall for you to get there. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
they're
yes
ready.
or no or one word.
Okay.
And the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay.
Okay. Oh no.
I'm going to go first. Favorite Wheel of Time book?
Say it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite character?
Moraine.
Favorite season 1 episode?
7.
Favorite actor on the show?
Rosamund Pike.
What?
Did you want me? Okay.
No, yeah, go.
Favorite season 2 trailer scene?
Ooh. Do we need to watch the trailer again? Anyway.
No, it's okay. Rand talking to Logain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Uno survive season 2?
No.
No.
Oh, it hurts my heart.
We gotta ask everyone that. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
I'm preparing myself for the saddest. It's better to just not hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perrin, Matt, or Rand?
Matt,
Min, Elaine, or Avienda?
Elaine.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I
We have
only
a couple
say
others that
okay.
we
You
throw
said
in.
one answer, but one word. I just feel like Elaine gets such a bad rap in the fandom that I feel like I have to be over enthusiastic and supportive of my girl Elaine. So like, no one come for me. It's not that I don't like the other people. I just feel like Elaine gets a bad rap.
We've got
agree.
a few people
We've had a
who
few Elaine.
who
Yeah,
answer
you'd be
Elaine.
great friends with Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really
Kevin.
loves Elaine.
Kevin's
Yeah,
a big
Kevin's a
Elaine
huge
fan.
Elaine
Okay.
stan.
Yeah. Okay, those were good.
Yeah.
Shadow
That
Rising.
was
So
stressful.
I
That
sorry, I
was
know,
stressful.
it's very stressful.
I'm sorry.
That's another thing. I torture my guests. We stress them out. We force them to come up with the answers right off the cuff. We make them answer poll answers or come up with poll things. That's just what we do. This is why we come back every week and do this. Is to really just put people in pressure situations.
Make people miserable.
Yeah, that's basically what we're here for, everyone. So you struggled a little bit with the picking your favorite book. So
Yeah.
before I bring our next caller in, like talk to us a little about the struggle and like what was it about that? What were you thinking, and like why was that kind of more of a difficult answer for you?
Part of it's difficult because of how quickly I read them the first time, that a lot of the books don't actually, like especially later books, are a little amorphous between where they begin and where they end. Like especially in those books where people often call it like the slog, because I just read it straight through, like I actually probably can't necessarily tell you all the time what events happen in which book, which makes it really hard for me sometimes to like pinpoint a book versus scenes that are my favorites. And then like all of a sudden I was thinking, well, I mean, A Memory of Light is the last book, and it's like, but then I was like, no, that's contrived. And then I was like, well, The Great Hunt, but I'm like, no, I think it's The Great Hunt.
you're-
But
no
it's
judgment.
so
No, yeah.
in The Great Hunt, you know what I mean? Like because I'm so excited for like season 2 and so then I'm like, no, but it's not The Great Hunt. So anyway,
Yeah.
that
I know,
was what
our
was
end
happening.
of
Yeah.
our end of what 25 people we've had. Has anyone said A Memory of Light?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think we
feel
had
like-
one.
Yeah. So not,
But I
you're
can't
right.
remember
You're
who it
not
was.
alone in the Shadow Rising is the most common answer. I feel like.
Is it the most common? Ugh, see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there it is.
One of
By the-
us. One of us.
By the way, I left this up there. I just noticed this in chat. We haven't really been talking full book spoilers here, so I'll take that down. So we do have 2 other callers. I want to throw the trailer up, and I don't want to like have a crazy late night tonight. Everyone needs to get some sleep and prep for tomorrow. I want to make sure these callers come in. Do we want to get the final 2 callers in, or do the trailer first? How are y'all feeling?
Maybe get one of the callers to do the trailer. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they've been waiting.
Okay, here we go. Let's bring our next caller in. Yeah, I've had a caller accidentally wait. I mean, they waited like 90 minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah, me.
Did you wait 90 minutes? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Proof. And you didn't go away. That was very nice of you. You actually decided to jump on and be a host. Okay, let me welcome our next
You don't
caller.
have to wait anymore.
Mistakes were made. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hi, it's Oliver's Ears. How you guys doing tonight?
Hi,
Oliver's
Oliver's
Ears.
Ears.
Hey, good to see you. I threw up one of your comments in chat. That was funny. Apparently, you don't want me to be teaching any of the classes you're in. That's okay. That's okay.
Well,
So
not the way you ask the questions. Let's put it that way.
I get it. Teaching is like live streaming. You're right, and so I probably would be frustrating lots of students out there. So I probably agree with you there. So Oliver's Ears. I didn't catch the answer in chat for you. What is for you? What is the thing that kind of reminds you of the Wheel of Time that you found in season 1 that like really for you is the Wheel of Time?
Well, oddly enough, it's not canon, but I thought the amalgam of Rand and Matt's journeys wrapped up in the Dana story was so excellent. I absolutely loved that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. The Dark Friend introduction
Yeah.
is so good. I mean, because till that point there were Trollocs and Fades, but
Yeah.
like no regular people, barmaid, Is the Dark Frame? Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
like for a non-book character, Dana
Yes.
was so good.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
she was so the books, even though she wasn't in the books.
I remember we started like
She
having
wrapped it all
theories.
together.
She
Because they
did.
didn't
Yes.
have time to do the whole month, 2 month, whatever, how long it is of
Yeah.
them doing it. She nailed it.
I mean,
But
we
even-
would have watched it, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah, she was much more. Yeah, and she was so much more relevant than Pater was. Let's say.
Yeah, she
Well,
had like
I
real
mean-
reasons. She almost convinced me
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
Dark
to
Friends.
me, to me, Dana gave me a lot of confidence in the writers to
Yeah.
translate the books onto the screen
Yes.
in a way that you don't actually lose anything. 'Cause
Right.
We don't really lose anything from the Dana plotline.
We gain.
It's still the same thing. It's just condensed. It's a new story. It's a new character, and it works really well. So if they can keep doing that in
Yeah.
season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
in a movie, then
Yeah.
we're
6 seasons in a movie.
that's
Correct.
right.
I like it.
I knew I liked you.
Particularly since Tom was not introduced early on as he is in the books, so the guys could learn certain things that would allow them to survive on the road. I thought it was a very good representation of their journey.
Yeah.
Well, Albert's ears, I know we don't have a short time here. I want to give you a moment to ask us a question. What did you call for, and what did you want to either tell us or ask us or ask me or my wonderful guests here tonight?
You've been asking some questions, and like which character would I most like to see in season 2? The one besides Perrin, who's my all-time fave anyway. I want to see how Uno does. I want to see him. I hope his story is absolutely incredible.
How many people said Uno was not going to make it to season 2?
It's right here. It's right here. This answer is right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a It's like 58% think he will. 42% are kind of in the not gonna make it.
But on the Lights Work
I
pod, how
think
many people?
most of our guests have answered yes, he will survive, but I think it's because they're scared of us.
Yes.
I think
I think they say
'Cause
yes.
this is the right. Yes is the only right answer.
We asked him like, will Uno survive season
And then
2?
we stare at them.
It's a hostage situation.
Yeah.
We really need Uno for later on, as we all know. So
I agree.
Let 'em
yeah.
have-
You
let
don't
him
have to
live.
convince us.
Yeah.
You have to convince other people that are not here. Well, Albert's ears, thank you so much for.
also-
Yeah, go ahead. One last thing. What's up?
just briefly, Bookborn. Hi. I had not even heard of you before, so I'm definitely going to be checking out your channel and see what you do. And to all of you, a wonderful What Eve.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Take care.
It's very Albert's ears. Awesome to
All right.
hear from you, man. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Have a great
Bye,
evening.
buddy.
Bye.
You too. Yeah, and that being said, I have Bookborn's link in the description of this video. If my mods will throw the link up in chat for anyone that's there, if you want to go and just immediately. you taking a break, Brian?
Stretches and stuff.
Brian's like he just had his legs like spread here. He's like I thought I was gonna make the whole show, but I don't know anymore.
Surprise! We're going 3 hours tonight.
Okay. We're gonna take our last caller here for Brian's sake. Keep that in mind here, everybody. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Sen Bowie.
Sen
I'll raise
Bowie.
my glass to you, sir.
Norm, good to see you, man. Cheers, Norm.
Cheers,
And of course, Anas, and Brian. Hi, Grace. And
Hi.
Bookborn, what's up? Glass to you. And everyone in chat, what's up?
Norm, it's awesome to hear from you. You had to call in for the last, for this last moment. I appreciate you doing that. I don't know if you heard us, but Brian is about to fall over. So I'm going to ask you to, throw us your. Do you have a question for Bookborn here, or do you have a question just for all of us? What was your final thought before the Wheel of Time season 2 premieres next week?
Well, then here's my 2 things. Sen Bowie, you really have to do a couch con for these guys tomorrow because there's no way Brian or any of them are going to survive for 13 hours. So,
I promise
you
during
got-
the
you
live
gotta
watch and
find-
react, they will have seats. They're very nice seats. They'll be fine.
Comfortable
They'll be
seats.
very comfortable. So,
We've been promised a lot of things.
Yeah.
We were promised chairs.
okay. That's fair enough. Okay, then I'll have to ask Bookborn, because this is my classic question for everybody who read the series at least the first time or so.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is the question a spoiler? Is the question a spoiler?
No, of course not.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
Go ahead. I just want to verify.
This is not Norm's first
Was
rodeo.
the slog real for you?
Yes, but also I think people overstate it. Because I actually didn't know that's what it was called, because I wasn't really online while I was reading the books. I didn't go online to kind of talk about the Wheel of Time until after I finished the whole thing. So I wasn't I didn't have any preconceived notions. I think it's bad that so many people go in with preconceived notions. That said, Winter's Heart and Crossroads of Twilight, those were a little tough for me. I specifically remember. But I thought that independently. And that's when I first went on a forum after, and people agreed with me, and I was like, okay, it's not just me.
What? I don't think that's true. I think everyone here loved those two books. Your favorite books, right?
Crossroads of Twilight. I read it like every week.
Yeah.
Crossroads of what?
Okay, I'm gonna ask that are Crossroads of Twilight. Is that what it's called? Oh man, I can't even. This is so bad. And Winter's Heart. It's Winter's Heart, right?
It's funny. I always get those two confused. Which one is first? Because they literally are like the same book.
Okay, in the bottom 5 of 15, we're gonna include Newspring in there. Everybody.
Yeah.
Are Crossroads of Twilight and Winter's Heart in your bottom 5 of 15 Wheel of Time books? Let's ask the audience. Norm, as always, man, you've been calling in for so long. I love hearing your voice. For picking up a random call from someone on the internet during a live stream, when you actually recognize the voice when people call in, you're like, okay, this is gonna be okay. So it is nice to hear your voice. Although new readers or new viewers that call in for the first time, it's great when they're nervous and they're like, oh my gosh, this is my first time calling in. So Norm can't be the only person that calls us. So always feel free to call everybody out there. Hopefully you do. We'll have a 12-hour live stream on Friday. So hopefully you'll call and talk to us. Norm, it's awesome to hear from you, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
You guys take care, everybody, and enjoy your watch.
Okay, we'll do. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye, Norm.
Bye, Norm.
You know what, though, with the slog, my more unpopular opinion is that I didn't notice the overusage of braid tugging until I got onto the online fandom. It never even bothered me. Braid tugging was not a thing that bothered me at all when I read the books until I got into the online fandom and found out I should be bothered by that. So there's my thing that didn't exist for me.
By the way, I love people in chat. They're like, interesting. There's still like a little bit of love for Winter's Heart. In chat.
Winter's Heart. I mean,
But
Yeah,
slightly.
Crossroads.
because of things that happen at the end of Winter's Heart.
Sure. No, I get it. But what's interesting though is it's a segment of the population here, because almost 200 of you have voted out there. 76% do say that those two books are in their bottom 5 of 15. So it is a group of people that are like, wait a second, I actually like that one. And that's pretty typical for Wheel of Time fans. Like, you'll always find, like, I'm always surprised when people do favorite books and they pick a book that I'm just like, what? That's your favorite book? Like, your favorite book of the 15? Like, that just happens. So
Path of Daggers, for me, is probably bottom, and it's Mary's favorite book.
I know.
I just...
But it can't be
how
the prologue of Path of Daggers, I won't say what it is, no spoilers, books. Prologue, it makes me love that book, even though I don't love the book. Like, it's, again, favorite character.
Tell me later, like, what happened.
One of my favorite characters is in the prologue. So, okay. So, and people ask this, and this is a good question. Let me remind everybody what's happening tomorrow. How about that, really quick here? And we're going to watch the trailer to kind of end this off, and I'll get final thoughts from Bookborn and my guests here. We'll let you all get back to it. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern or so, everybody. You know how we start 7 or 15 minutes late. It'll be right around that, okay? But around 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to start our pre-show here. We'll get everybody prepped. We may or may not use the Prime Video watch feature. It just depends how easy it's going to be, because like when the episode drops, then because I think you need to be able to select the episode that's there to create the watch party, and so we have to watch for it to drop and then create it and then send the link out. That seems a little bit annoying. So we will likely just start the episode as soon as it drops for us. So we're going to do that pre-show. We'll talk to everybody. That last 45 minutes will be really crazy and fun. And then we're going to actually do like a live watch and react. So we're going to mute it, and you'll see all of us that are there. There'll be probably about 10 to 15 of us. Some more people, those of you that know or been here at the Dusty Wheel for a long time, will recognize a lot of our guests, if not all of them. And we'll be reacting to it. We'll stop after the first episode, and we'll talk with everyone that happens to be in chat for about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll start episode 2, watch it, stop, talk for 30 to 45 minutes. Do the same thing with episode 3. And then we're going to send you all over to Malkier Talks channel. That's right. After that 6 or 7 hours, we're going to send you over to Malkier Talks. Rob's going to do a 9-hour after party and talk all about the shows. Hopefully those of you, and what's great is Rob's out in London or Manchester. And he'll be, for those of you that are not asleep at that point and are awake and want somebody to talk to you, you'll have 9 hours of the ability to talk to Rob. And then Rob will send everybody back to us. That's right. We'll come back on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll do a 12-hour live stream until 10 p.m. Eastern. And then we will end and take a break. So that'll be 27 hours of live coverage brought to you by Dusty Wheel and Malkier Talks tomorrow. So
and we'll cover like 5%.
Yes, yeah. Then we'll have plenty of show to still talk about after that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Bookborn. Before we watch this trailer and get your final thoughts, if someone here is like, okay, this is cool, Bookborn seems cool, Wheel of Time fan, like, what should they know? Like, is there something you're working on right now? Is there a book you're covering? Are there things coming up that they'd be like, oh, that sounds interesting, I would want to go over and kind of check it out?
Well, Wheel of Time wise, last year what I did with Wheel of Time is I did book to episode comparisons for every episode. So I did directly like what is different. And to be clear, like, it wasn't to trash the show. It was just for a resource for people who ever either weren't planning on reading them or haven't read them in a while. So I will be doing that for season 2. And I try to get them up really quick. So like tomorrow is a busy night for me. I'm going to be binging them, and then I am going to be like writing all the differences and then filming that and trying to get them up on Friday. And so if you're interested in, that's why I took off time last year.
I know.
It's serious business. This is Wheel of Time.
You're saying wow, and you're doing a 12-hour live.
I get it.
12 live shows on Friday.
In my head, the work that you and
Yes.
other people do when it comes to like video
So
prep,
right.
I can't do like the pre-recorded stuff. Like that takes me forever. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be live when we're talking about things. But when people tell me like I'm gonna put together a video, I'm like, I can't do that. It's like a really funny reaction for me. Yeah.
Your thing is way harder to me. So if you're interested, like if it's been a hot moment since you read the books or something, that is my project that I do. I do it pretty, just try to do a rundown of all the differences.
Awesome. That sounds like fun. Everyone, again, the mods, you can throw that link, Bookborn's link, in the chat. It's in the description of this video if you watch this afterwards. And for those of you that watched this all the way up to this point, hopefully in the comments after this, you'll answer those questions we had. Like, what is it that you found? Maybe the one thing, and that's all you found that was kind of the Wheel of Time. You know, what's the character in season 2 that you are really hoping they get right? All those questions we asked you. What was that?
Miss Sarah James.
Yes. Everybody's quiet quitting work tomorrow, right? Just for a day. So let's do this. Let's kind of refresh our minds here and end on a fun note with this trailer. But I think universally we think a pretty good job was done with this one. At least that's what I've heard from fans too. So here we go, everyone.
Everyone has a choice. And every choice has a consequence.
I'm bigger than my body.
We didn't defeat the Dark One. We set him free.
I'm meaner than my demons.
No one should have that much power.
I'm bigger than these walls.
Together we face the impossible. But now in our separate corners of the world.
I'm bigger than my body.
Protecting Rand, guiding him, that is the only thing that matters. You can't control him.
You know you have something inside you. Something that calls for blood. I want to know how to control it.
The last battle's coming.
The whole world will be ours.
If our friends are in trouble, why would they ever stay here? You have no conception of the power they wield.
You can't do this by yourself.
There are many paths to walk through the night.
It's not always the most powerful who write history. It's the ones who survive.
I'm tired of being a spoke in the wheel.
You're not a spoke, boy. You are the water that turns the wheel itself.
That's tomorrow, everyone. That's tomorrow. I can't believe we did a 12-hour breakdown of that trailer, and it does not surprise me. That was like, we got halfway through the trailer, and I was like, "There's more to this trailer." I've forgotten,
so
and it was
much.
like that was a pretty deep
lot.
trailer. Yeah, and gave us a lot. And what's been interesting is we're not going to talk about, but the things that they dropped later on. Now I understand a lot more of what's going on there. So, really cool moment. Final thoughts from you, Bookborn, just about anything we've talked about tonight, and yeah, just. Is there anything you want to kind of leave the show or leave fans kind of watching before we let you go?
I think, you know, by the end of season 1, I was struggling with season 1. Like I started more positive and it ended on a negative note for me. So season 1 ended up being hard for me a little bit. But I told you guys before the show started that I hadn't watched the trailer because I just try to keep myself just hopeful and like not worried about it. But the trailer actually kind of hyped me up a lot. And so I'm feeling like very, very hopeful, more though than I was going into season 2, that it, you know, it's going to be good. So I'm really excited. It really hyped me up for the season 2.
Yeah, it did too, and maybe that was something they wanted to do this year. Like that just kind of finally dropped. We finally got a view of it, and that's been kind of the most dominant picture. That's how I think about season 2 right now, is that trailer, and that was maybe a smart move on them. They clearly put a lot of time into it. Some really important shots there. I think that was really well done.
A lot of important dynamics. I think to me, it was character dynamics are very at the forefront there, and they are all our character dynamics that I maybe wasn't sure we were going to see in season 2. So yeah, I'm going in with hope.
Okay.
People
yeah.
were asking about.
Oh, what did they ask?
Giveaway.
Oh, okay.
No?
Sorry,
No?
my son like manages like Taylor.
Do you want me to do
it? Oh, do you have it like set up right now?
Yeah.
You do?
Like
you can make it happen? Okay, yeah. Well, of course, if you can make it happen.
No, I just wanted.
You can do the giveaway, and we'll get final thoughts. We give away some swag, a mug each show, and I sometimes forget. Taylor used to do all this stuff for me, so like he's the producer. And then he like leaves, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this stuff. So thankfully you do. So we put that raffle in. It started. If you put exclamation point raffle, Bookborn, feel free to enter. It's one word though, and you never know. But yeah, exclamation point raffle, and only put in one. Everyone putting in 2 doesn't help, and mods eventually will kick you out if you start doing lots of them. So don't get kicked out. Enter the raffle there. While we wait for those all to collect, and we'll pick a winner here. Brian, just final thought here, just like a quick final thought that you have before the premiere tomorrow.
I'm just super stoked about season 2, and I really enjoyed talking about it with you, Bookborn, and getting your thoughts on this. And we're on the same page, and we make a great, face. This has been super exciting. I'm super stoked for tomorrow. Can't wait to watch it and then break it down with all you guys, and just have a blast over the next couple of days.
Brian can't wait to sit down. It's all Brian is thinking about right now.
Final thoughts. I need a chair.
Final thoughts. Let this
end the show.
Brian, you've been a trooper, man. That's freaking awesome. Yes, and remember, everyone, that's right. Tomorrow, you can come watch all of us and other fans while you're watching. Have our screen up and watch us react on the big screen. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. Join us at 7 p.m. Eastern, And that's our first watch party. That's great. I see people are almost done entering. For you, Grace? Final thought?
Yeah, no, I agree with Brian. I loved hearing your thoughts, Bookborn. They were things I hadn't thought of before that you mentioned tonight, so that was great. And I feel like I have to, like, it's on brand for me to be sentimental. So I'm gonna say, like, I just love being here with you all in person, and like watching the trailer together just now was pretty awesome. So I'm just excited about that. I'm excited to see more people tomorrow and everybody in chat. And it's gonna be very special. It feels like things are just not gonna be the same after tomorrow, after we've seen the episodes.
Yeah, I want to add this to that. They've put so many scenes in these like things that they've released where I've been like, oh, well, yeah, I recognize that. I really want to see that. I'm really hoping they deliver. Like, I just want them to like deliver on the promise, right? That's is that like a Sanderson thing that he talks about all the time, like delivering on the promise? So yes, deliver on the promise. That's what you got to do, and I know we'll have a wonderful, wonderful season. Final thoughts from you on us before we pick a winner and get out of here.
Get Lanfear right.
Get Lanfear right is the correct answer.
Got something on the nose there.
I was gonna say we don't want to hear the Innkeeper's test. We don't want to be in his class. It turns out there was a question we didn't know we were answering.
Are you feeling hopeful for season 2? 95% of you said yes. So with that thought, pick our winner and let's let our guest go, and we go grab some dinner. Who won?
I don't know why. I can't end it. Wait, give me a
We
second.
can't end it.
It says close entries, but it doesn't say pick a winner here.
Okay, hold on. I think I know how to do this.
Do you not usually do it on your phone?
Let me go.
No, it's just.
Someone text Taylor.
No.
Just go.
It's widgets. It's Cloudbot.
Yeah.
And then I go to giveaways.
And
then pick a
a
winner.
Okay.
There we go. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. The winner is Dana Lou. Dana is Zool is one of our mods. Nice job, Dana.
Well earned.
I literally sent Dana one like a couple weeks ago, and I sent her a mug on Saturday.
Dana already won. Like, oh my gosh, you won again, Dana.
You can never have enough Dusty mugs.
Yeah, that's right.
There's many different
congratulations, Dana, for winning again. That's random. That's luck right there. So that's very Matt-like luck in this moment. So, okay, thank you again, Bookborn, for being here.
Thanks for having me. Brian, you can sit down now.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
There it is. How was everything? Was this better? Should we have done this the entire time? Bookborn, no, thank you so much. We talked about this. I was like, I got to have you on, and I'm glad that this was the moment. Again, I really wanted to kind of talk Wheel of Time and talk about kind of our hopes and concerns, kind of like what was, what are we hoping to see and what are we hoping to not see, and really just kind of enjoying time as fans. So
Thank you so much. It was such a great time.
Oh yeah, you did that, and if you would like, I'd love to have you back once the season's over or during the season. If it's something you like to react to after the fact, we'll be doing live after shows the entire season, everyone. So I'd love to have your thoughts maybe at the end of the season too. So with that being said, everyone, thank you all for being here too. That was like a unique experience. That was so much fun.
Brian's I'm like just sitting here for the next hour.
I can't move.
I can't feel my toes, actually.
No, we made this one. That was awesome. And you're like, I'm never flying out. And then Matt invites me out again. It's never happening. Wait, somebody says wait. Oh, Brian, do the face the other way.
Right,
so they're asking, they're asking Bookborn. Brian, here we go. Bookborn, we have to wait for you guys to get this on point a little bit.
Go the wrong way. There we go.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. Brian, your eyes go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Brian, okay.
Here
You
you
need to
go.
practice that more.
Oh, this is perfect.
There we go. And if you would like to, we will doing this after shows throughout the season. If you would like to jump on our Discord and jump in the voice channels, we like to go in there and keep the conversation going afterwards. So feel free to do that. Thank you everyone in the chat. You guys are a blast. You guys make this so much fun. Thank you for our callers that came in. And that's it, everyone. That's it. As we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel and
Smash it black!
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well.
Scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad.
I see Luconia as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
This is not just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a moment
for those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
Probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not.
We're not gonna do pizza again, right?
No
Where are we
pizza
gonna go
again?
eat?
Dinner?
No.
Pizza?
For what? Dinner?
Sausage and onion.
Oh.
Yeah? Pepperoni and mushrooms?
Yeah.
No.
I'm like,
Do you think
can we
anyone
not
stuck
talk
around?
about pizza
You
again?
think people stuck around?
This is what we talk about all the time. We talk about pizza all the time.
It was just like when we came back in, I was still covering all your faces, and it hit the way I wanted it to hit in my head.
So who's still here?
People are still around. Let's give away another mug. Here we
So-
go.
so-
Where's the dashboard here?
Oh, I have to do it again. Oh, no, you can do it.
No, I can do it again.
Yeah,
I can.
you can
If you stuck around, let's give away a mug for the people that stuck around.
If you guys stuck around, I could show you my cool wooden Wheel of Time map I have.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Yes.
seen
Yes.
these
Yeah.
Wheel of Time maps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a giveaway?
Yes,
No.
yeah.
I can get it off.
Okay. Where's the swag here?
I have a
Start
cool
giveaway.
Wheel of Time map.
My husband gifted this to me for my
Oh, that's
birthday
so
last
cool.
year.
Oh, that is
Not the
freaking cool.
sweetest
Oh wait,
thing.
how do I do the? Hold on. I think.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
there we
That's
go.
cool.
Okay, like zoom in. Can you go any closer or no? Is that like
The water looks
Well,
we
awesome.
put you full screen for everyone to see here?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, that's so
Very
cool.
detailed. And yeah, it's
That is
from
so
Etsy,
cool.
man. It's just like one of my favorite Wheel of Time things.
That is. Oh, Anas, do you want to grab my?
Yeah.
I'm like that's
You need-
cool.
I need
Now
to
I gotta show a cool thing that I have. I love the picture of Matt right there. Yeah, everybody, if you were still around, we just came back for a second.
You guys come back.
We're giving away. You're like, hey, show
Dusty
us.
Wheel. I'm the new Innkeeper.
Yes, this is how you can host the show right there. Okay, this is I don't know if you can see this here, but it's like is
Oh.
it really?
It's
Let me
too
see.
shiny.
Is it too
That is
shiny?
my favorite
There you
art
go.
piece
Point it-
from
angle
the
it up.
Angle it a little bit.
Other way.
covers.
Other way.
And then Harriet McDougal signed it. So Robert Jordan's
There you go. There you go.
That's better.
Robert Jordan's wife signed it, and it's awesome. I love that thing. So
Yeah, that is my favorite actually images of that set of like images.
yeah, that one's awesome, right?
That's bad.
So okay, we're gonna end. If you stuck around, only 27 of you stuck around to enter the raffle. So
10%.
that's a really good. You have a really good chance of winning here, everybody. Okay, closing entries. Yeah, Dana wins again. Here we go, and the winner is Dale Harris.
Congrats,
he win
Dale.
yes.
I think
Dale
so.
has
That
won
makes
before.
sense familiar. Yeah.
We just give it away to people that won before. That's right. I always say that. The funny thing about that Bookborn is I always am like, did somebody already win this? And they're like, no, I never won. And I'm like, oh, I just feel like you did. And I keep on saying that to everybody all the time. So Dale, make sure for anyone that did win, you've won before, so you know how to do this. Just go on Discord, tell me, and we'll get you. I got 18 out, but then there's like 5 more. So I'm behind a little bit, everyone. So thank you all for coming back in. We had to do one of those.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bookborn, for showing us that map. A little behind the scenes.
That's a
moment
cool
for
map.
those that, for the people that stuck around. Okay, we'll try this again. Bookborn, if you want to jump in, you can. You don't have to say this. But yes, smash to black is kind of the word of the day for when we go out here. So once again, as we sit here, good night from the Dusty.
Welcome to the Dusty.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Jess complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog. For the
it does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey
I am
everybody,
wrong
welcome to
about.
the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no.
Welcome to the Dusty.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Jess complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog. For the
it does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey
I am
everybody,
wrong
welcome to
about.
the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like
This
all
is
of a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a
wow.
traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no.
Welcome to the Dusty.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Jess complimented me on my dress, and as you
Welcome to the Dusty.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
and if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Jess complimented me on my dress.
Welcome to the Dusty.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not wearing one.
I see the Comey as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, consider why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Will Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Terrible, like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's
a
like,
traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me, and
Probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,